Very good. The last note on there was run fast and run fast regularly. Or is that how?
Run fast often.
Run fast often. Okay, is what we wanted to point out. You can easily get through any type of sporting training, say volleyball as an example, baseball, where you can go through a full skills training and never really run fast. You need to really run fast regularly, meaning every time you go to training you really want to work on your form somehow and do some repeat sprints. It doesn't have to be 10,000 of them, just 6 to 10 sprints where you actually get out and run a base or whatever it is. You need to run fast and run fast regularly. Okay, next slide was about how to build up resilience. I'll go through this really quickly. In a second, I'll just get everyone to stand up. But the reason why I want you to stand up is I'm just going to get you to very simply pick up your right leg, put it down, pick up your left leg, put it down. Okay, go ahead and try that. Stand up. Just stand on your left leg. So pick up your right leg, pick up your right knee, hold it there for a split second, put it back down again, and pick up your other leg. Okay, some of you will be better than others. Have a seat. That's just basic balance. Everyone call that balance. At the pelvic level, what we're trying to do is make sure that you're stable through your pelvis. Okay, and that's a test that we use where we use our thumbs to check to see if you actually got sacroiliac stability, meaning the hips are broken up into 3 bones. You've got your sacrum and you've got your 2 iliums. They actually lock together as like a male and female joint. It's not locked all the time. It's locked when my foot hits the ground and it carries over. In football, I give the example all the time. How do you think you're going to kick accurately? Aussie rules, they still shank the kicks all the time because their hips are still unstable. A lot of athletes, even at the pro level, still don't have true hip stability. So stability is a key for injury prevention, and the sacroiliac joint is massive for that. Okay, so if you find yourself quite out of balance or unstable or whatever, then that's a bad thing. Okay, for you to be able to run properly without getting a back problem, so if my foot hits the ground and my hips drop all the time, then it's pretty hard for my back to stay healthy. Okay, so it's pretty hard for you to stay healthy. So how are you going to hit the ball out of the park if your back is hurting and you're thinking that it's from the hitting? Invariably it's not. It's because your hips are unstable all day long. Okay. So an exercise that really helps, I think, in a sport of baseball, any sort of hitting type sport, is like a dead cockroach with a first belly pattern. So there's 2 movements in life and everything is an application of that. Rolling and crawling, okay? So baseball is very much about rolling, throwing, hitting, they're all rolling movements, okay? So whereas this is like a dead cockroach, hopefully the video will run properly for us. So what's supposed to what we like to do, might be a slightly older video. So typically what we like to do is have someone hold the elbows so they've got something to anchor off, but the idea is the legs move first. So when a baby first learns how to move, they lie down on their back to roll over onto their belly. The first thing that moves is the legs. Then their upper body comes second. Okay? A lot of athletes can't throw, so how the girls can't throw sort of thing. Well, that's not necessarily true, but as a general rule, what happens is that you'll see low level abilities to throw, okay? And that's because the hips are supposed to go first, and then the legs, and coaches like Andy would be working on that technique all the time. Same thing with hitting, all right? That sort of thing. So if it comes naturally through the nervous system, that's a lot better than him having to teach you or tell you how to do it. Should just come naturally, as everyone says, that person's a natural athlete. Well, it starts back when you were a baby, okay? All right, the 2 things that I've noted, and I'll finally go back to the slides now. And I'll go back to slide presentation. Two things I noted there: flexibility and stability. You know how when someone gets hurt, if you get hurt, the physio will generally give you stretches and that sort of stuff and give you maybe some exercises to do. The reason being is because they just want to get good range first. Well, that's normal in actual every day. If I see you walking along and your heel's picking up early, that means you're quite tight through the calves or the Achilles. That's going to give you problems. So you need to get good range through that muscle to be able to move properly. I say, like, if you want to move like a cat, if you really want to be a fantastic infielder or whatever, how are you going to do that if you're tight? How do you think you're going to have the flexibility to be able to reach that ball, hit, throw, fluidly? I mean, how are you going to do that stuff? So you're kidding yourself if you're going to be tight. When you're growing, your bones grow really fast and your muscles get stretched over those bones. You have to do extra exercises to keep flexible. Otherwise, your movement patterns won't be as good and you'll be wondering why you're not as good as you were 2 years ago. Oh, I was better when I was 12 than I am now, you know. Well, it's because, mate, you're not doing any stretching. You're not doing any flexibility work. So you need to listen to your coaches and do that first and foremost. Stability, first and foremost. So you need to be flexible and stable first to move like a cat. Why can't I get that to come up? There we go. Develop strength and speed over the top of that. So once you've actually developed stability and flexibility, then you want to get faster. You want to make the movements quicker. So an example of how we apply deep system work, you know, the neck, how we apply that into a weight room is with the squat. So if you're squatting, let's say you're only a young one, you got a little dumbbells or whatever between your legs, you're working in neck position. And so you're working on that neck position over and over and over again, so then it will apply. Body weight squat, same thing, neck position, there, not there anymore, okay? So this is applied throughout. Movement is applied throughout. Posture is applied throughout so that you will get a result within a period of time, okay? Next one. The one big thing I wanted to point out was developing great habits. You've got to develop great habits. That's what's the greatest thing about these sort of academy programs, is that they're giving you the tools to become successful. No one becomes successful. I'll give you an example. One child will be fantastic at school. To get through schoolwork, no time flat, homework, no, that's a breeze. Okay? The other child struggles at schoolwork. They do their homework, it takes them 2 hours to do their homework. Who's going to be more successful? I'm going to tell you, the kid that struggles through 2 hours of homework, doesn't complain about, does the homework, and then does it day after day after day. They're the ones that will get a bachelor's degree. They'll get a master's degree. They'll get a PhD or whatever and become an expert in their field. The kid that breezes through primary school, struggles a bit through high school, early high school, but they do well enough. And then in older high school, they do well enough to get into some sort of degree, but they never really liked it. They never reach their full potential. They're pretty much average because their habits are average, because they struggled through trying to do their homework. If you're willing to do the homework, you will succeed. Everyone just talks about, oh, that person's a natural athlete. No way. Not in this day and age. They have to work. If you want to know, a lot of those kids in America, if they do really well, that's because the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is big and they're willing to work darn hard for it, and their parents as well. Okay? They'll travel 45 minutes to the next weight room. They'll do the workout. They'll do whatever that video was talking about, they'll do it. And they'll do it to the nth degree. And Australian kids will do the same as well. It's just a matter of whether you're willing to do it, okay? Progressive overload. So, to just go on to that quick thing, prehab routine. I call it bookend training, okay? So you got this training session, all right? So Andy's got a skill session for an hour and a half. What are you going to do that's going to be better than everyone else? Are you just going to turn up and do whatever he gets you to do? Or are you going to turn up half an hour early and do your own prehab work before he even gets you to do stuff? All right? That's what I'd be doing if you have the time, if you're able to get there early enough. Or if you can't get there early enough, stay there longer and do other prehab work after he's finished with you, so you block the time in, okay? Because if you have great habits, if you do that, put that time aside, then it will pay its dividends over and over again. I have seen it firsthand. All right. So how you explain it is you got a dynamic warm-up. You know some of those drills, like whatever drills, you got high knee marches and stuff. That's a dynamic warm-up. Karaoke, that sort of stuff. Then you do dynamic flex. You know, dynamic flex. Then you got specific warm-up, which is more like a pushback drill or something like that, a bit more dynamic drill. That's a specific drill with specific warm-up sprints and everything else. Then you got baseball warm-ups, you know, throwing, bit of hitting, that sort of stuff. Then on top of that, then you got prehab stuff where you know, walking side lunges, where you're stretching the groin out, strengthening the groin out every day. Working on ankle walks to prevent ankle injuries, that sort of stuff every day. Not whenever you felt like it. A set protocol that you may change from week to week or whatever, but something which you can hold, you know, hang your hat on, and that you're going to do it. That's a prehab routine, okay? And then progressive overload, variable. So a couple of things I wanted to make you aware of to create overload. You can have different force vectors. So you can chop down, chop sideways, chop up, that sort of stuff. As an example, you have force going straight down when you squat. You can have a belt attached to a cable and the force is pulling me that way. and I'm squatting. So that's a different vector. Turn around, the vector's that way. Okay? Force in sport occurs in multiple angles, all sorts of different angles. So traditional squat, lunge, everything else, that's good base level type stuff, but you need to add other vectors later, and you'll see that in band training, chains, that sort of stuff. Speed of movement's the other thing. So you got vector, then you got speed. So it could be a slow chop, or it could be a fast chop, or it could be, you know, a baseball just hitting a ball. Okay? So you go through all those, and then finally you can increase the weight, can't you? All right? You can increase the weight, put in bands, put in chains, so you've got different forces occurring at different stages of the movement. I think hopefully the main thing that I wanted you to understand is speed. So hopefully you understood a little bit, and you got to you can remember a few of those things about posture, Homer Simpson, steel springs, whatever you like. Then the next one is about resilience, becoming injury-free, staying as injury-free as possible. You basically just call it reduction. You reduce the likelihood of an injury occurring in the first place, but you also, if the injury does occur, you reduce the number of weeks that it's going to occur, because I can tell you, say for instance, if you want any take-home message from me, if you want to prevent ankle injuries, ankle walks is the most golden ankle injury prevention exercise you'll ever see for lateral ankle sprains. I can put categorically where I had 10 years of pro and college basketball where I did not have one game lost or one training lost to an ankle injury in a decade. Okay? That is a lot of basketball. So if you do that, then if you've ever had ankle injuries, that will help you a lot. Okay? So that's my take-home message from you. You need to make sure that you can, get faster, and you need to be able to prevent injuries. So I wish you all the best with it, and thanks a lot for listening to me today. Okay?